Hi, my name's Lee Watts from Audi Auto at Pennant Hills. We're going to be running you through today some of the operational features on the new Q3. So to start with, we're going to use our foot to press onto the brake pedal. We're going to press the start button down here. And that's going to start the whole car's operation. If you wish to just go into the older accessory mode where the engine isn't running, you just press the start button there just once without your foot on the brake pedal, and that'll allow you to operate some of the radio and control features around the vehicle. Now, starting from the door side, we've got the good old-fashioned windows and mirror controls. We do have locking functionality on the back here for the window controls. To lock the doors in a child lock protection, you need to actually go to the door and flick the little switch on each individual back door. So just to do the windows only, click there. We see now it's on the red. We know that it's locked away. Window controls, front and back, are both operated by a single press function. Right, so you get a nice traditional sort of start and stop functionality, or a harder press allows you to do a full auto and open on both the front and back windows. Up the front here, our mirror controls, and we just ever so simply turn the dial like this to then gain control over the mirror. Now, when you do actually press those, you'll notice the mirrors will move in, they'll dip, and they've got this little black line towards the outer part of the mirror there, which you might notice. That little section there is designed to dip and be a little bit more visual into the outer blind spot area. Not only with that, we've got this little section here, right, which will light up orange, which is your little blind spot information area, and that will then function as you're driving on a multi-lane road and someone's within 9 meters of the back of the car. Now that functionality obviously is great, a good little assist there to keep you safe. Now while we run across here, we've got of course the central locking for the door. So we've got the unlock and lock button. In the car's information settings, you can actually set it so that obviously the car does lock whilst you're driving. Obviously makes it nice and safe if you need it to be. Over on the driver's side here, so on this panel we start, this is where all your lighting control is based, and this little switch here is designed so that you can change over your lighting controls. Now when you actually do press this button, you'll notice not much happens. That's because it's all happening up here. This is designed so that you can go between all the different modes. Now, automatic's pretty self-explanatory. That'll turn your lights on and off as it gets dark or, of course, drives into a tunnel. With dip lights, that means your headlights will be on permanently, so all of the time. Side lights, or parker lights as we know, obviously great to use when you need to park the car off into the side of a street and you're just a little bit worried there. Or off means that obviously the lights will be off and needs to be a full manual control. That's obviously beneficial if you don't want your headlights on whatsoever, but they will still run the daytime running lights. For obvious reasons, most customers choose to put them on automatic, and I don't see why not. So here we've got, of course, then the fog lights and certainly driving lights additional. So if in bad conditions, we can select that driving lights to be on, or all weather lights, and we can obviously choose to have the rear driving lights on as well, rear fog light, obviously giving that bright red light onto the back. Makes it nice and simple there. Now, as you would have noticed from obviously the virtual cockpit screen here, obviously the display can be modified to a few different settings. We can do that all from the steering wheel controls here. So over on our right side, we've got, of course, the audio visual controls for the vehicle. So very simply, we can scroll up and down on this little one here to control the radio and control the volume. That's for both your media, your radio, and of course your voice controls whilst you're using a phone, say for example. Now track back and forth, or radio station back and forth through all your different selections can be done as well, and we can press the mute button there. This little star button does allow you to preset one particular favorite. When you've just purchased the car, you can just press that button and that'll allow you to then select a particular option, right, of your choosing to then use that button off. Okay. Now when we are driving the vehicle, obviously there's two different types of voice controls we can activate. So there's the first type, obviously, which is your phone command. So this one here allows you to simply just with one press, pick up or hang up on a call as they come through, or obviously want to then switch that off there. And then we've got our voice command button. Now one simple press will activate the Audi voice command system. But if you do one single, and I'll just hold that for a second to cancel it. If you do one single long press, so 1, 2, that will then activate your phone's voice command system. So if you're with Apple, that will obviously be Siri, or if you've got an Android based phone, that'll then be the Google functionality, or any other one that you've got set up with your phone. and that'll then allow you to control or do text messages through your phone connection as well. Whilst we jump to the back here, you can see here we've got our steering controls and our light controls. So of course, oh sorry, my apologies, we've got our wiper controls. Very simple integration there. We can see the operations actually function through this little side here. So if I go down one, that gives me a single one-off wipe, as you just saw there, right? And then it sets back to this off neutral position. If I click it up once, that then sets it to the automatic functionality. And this little dial on the outside here then allows you to change the strength of the wipers depending on if there's more water or less water. That'll lay in that little indication there, more water or less water, to have that wipe come on through. Now you can then set it to an automatic low speed wiper, or of course one more up, we'll do a full high speed wiper. Traditionally, pulling towards yourself will then set off the sprayers, and as we see there, pretty simple, that'll then work itself out. We'll see on the top here, that's then the control for the back wiper. So if I now push towards the dashboard there, that now sets the wiper on. Okay, one more press, that's now set up that sprayed the rear wiper there. And as you can see, simple and easy. Functionality there is quite simple. Okay, obviously if you leave it on auto, that functionality will all be set up and change as the car obviously needs it to be. So starts to rain, that'll then start to activate the wipers. Over on the left side here, this is where our blinkers and of course high beam control now sit. So very simply and easily, we can then click that on. That locks on, of course, our left wiper or our right wiper there. No different of control there in that functionality. We do, however, have the single one-off press, which gives us the 3 blinks as it then runs across through there. Okay, now with that too, we've then got the ability to high beam on or push forward to then lock the high beam control on as we go. Okay, and that'll work as I start to put the car in gear and actually drive. So very simple and easy. Down on the bottom here, this is the one that tends to get away from a lot of people. This is our cruise control system. So as we come around on the right side here, we can see the control of the button just on the outside here, and this is the one that gets missed by a lot of people. So this is to click and engage the cruise system. So as we are driving along and we want to engage the cruise, we press that button once and that'll then tap to then adjust and set the cruise system for whatever speed you're doing at the time. As very simply, we can do soft up presses to give us 1 to 2 km/h increment changes, or we can give it decent clicks, which then allow it to change a very 10 km/h difference. On the top here, we can use this system to set it as a limiter. So therefore, of course, if you'd like to set it to 60, whilst you're driving normally around the city streets, as you get to 60 km/h, it won't let you over accelerate unless you fully depress the pedal. In other words, you try and obviously accelerate extremely out of a scenario. That'll allow you to set that up there as well. We can see as I'm changing over with these, that's that little limiter functionality there. And I've just changed that back to the standard cruise. I'm now pushing up on that cruise control system there, right? And as you can see, that's engaging that, setting that up, or of course setting that back down in those little sections there. Okay, a very easy, simple cruise system once we're actually running the vehicle. On the left side of the control is where you mainly control the virtual cockpit there. So up the very top, you'll notice there's these buttons, left and right. They match the top side here. So what we simply do, press to the left, and we go between the different settings. So we've got our phone, we've got our media, which at the moment is set to our radio. We've got our car statistics here. Now all of these allow you to scroll up and down through this little menu here as well. So we can now go between short memory, long memory consumption, energy consumption there, driver assist features, so lane departure warning, what's switched on and off. Go back to the radio, scroll up, change over to a different radio station, or I can click here and change between different options of media. So switch, let's change that over to, say for example, a Bluetooth connectivity, and be able to set up our phone and obviously stream music from our phone instead. Phone connection, once that's obviously set up with the phone, we'll have our connections there, we'll have our latest call list. We'll be able to then use the voice command, of course, back on the right side here to establish a connection and be able to establish a phone call to someone. And of course, everyone's favorite, back to the navigation map here, which this little control allows you to zoom in and zoom back out as we go. Now, very simply from these buttons here, they allow you to do a lot of shortcut features, so a last destination or a favorite that we've got set up, and they are simple and easy to then function in this main screen on our left side here, which we'll get to in a second. Last little one, the view button here. This changes then the overall pilot view. So if you prefer a larger size speedometer with digital speedo there, nice and simple and easy. This then changes as per every other view. We want to reduce that out, or we really want to take advantage of a large size map there with as much information on it as possible. We can use that there too.